Hey, good morning, everybody. This is just a quick update on what's going on with CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike is this kind of this relay center. It's a cybersecurity supposed to increase protection for your services and your cyber stuff, like all your cloud services and things like that. But there's been an outage for about 6 or 7 hours today, and it's taken down airlines and banks and websites and payment processors. It's basically crippled a lot of the world. In fact, they have grounded flights around the United States and probably around the world, from what I've seen. And it's not good for the stock, but there is some interesting stuff going on. So I wanted to point out to you, and I wanted to say, listen, this could be a problem. Like if we have one company that can take down airline flights and shut down airline flights around the world, that's a problem. Now, CrowdStrike was basically the backbone of Microsoft's Azure, cloud services, which is kind of like AWS if you follow Amazon. And when CrowdStrike went down, it took down Microsoft's Azure, and Azure is supporting a lot of people doing a lot of different things. This is a problem for Microsoft. This is a problem for CrowdStrike. So let's hope they get their poop in a group here and get it together, because this could be seriously bad for the world. But let's take a look at the chart. Here it is today. And, I know it's a little bit small. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. There we go, a little bit. Okay, good. So you're seeing the stock right now trading around 309.32. And it just basically came down and touched. This is why it's so fantastic. The markets are amazing. It came down and it touched that 200-day moving average at 289.24. So it's bounced up 20 points from that. It was down like 70 or 80 points this morning. And so that is telling us, look, there's a gap down with energy right there. That's a problem. There was a gap down here that kind of said maybe there's something going on. Like maybe 4 days in a row down. Maybe somebody knew something. I don't know. But it certainly has come down and it's filled this gap. Now, you know me, I'm a big gap guy. And so I always try to study the gaps. And there's a gap here that just got filled this morning. Interesting, right? And so I thought the first move down would be to come down and touch the 200-day moving average. It has done that. Whether it holds it today or not, I'm not sure. But a big volume day, it normally does about 5 million shares. It's already done 12 million, and it's only 9:50, only 20 minutes into the market. Big volumes days tend to repeat. And so what's going to happen, I think, I'm not a predictor, I'm just a probabilities guy, but now that it's filled all of these gaps on the chart, it's left these two, but it's filled these two big ones over here on the left. Now it's going to want to come back and take this little 280 out right here. Now, it's got to do 3 million shares to take 280 out, and it didn't quite get to 280. No, the low was 290. So it's going to want to go back and test that low. That's a low volume low. If you look at it, it's only about 3 million shares there, and the next day, it's not that many more. So pretty low volume low, and I probably should look at the weekly on this. What I think is going to happen is it wants to go to this 238.61 over time, because that's kind of a little hiccup here, and it's standing out there by itself. If you want to look at a high volume low, you can look at this 273. So it's probably going to be this 273. If it can hold it and bounce on low volume, which is pretty likely, unless they have another outage, then you'll probably see a bounce off of that 273. But if it blows through that 273 on high volume, then this 238.61 is in play. So that's the way I'm looking at CrowdStrike. It has been a phenomenal stock this year. And so you've got to kind of watch out what's going on in the stock. But even some of these phenomenal stocks, they still have corrections. They still go back and test prior lows. And you have to be careful of that. And this stock is right in the middle of testing a prior low. Looks like it's a pretty good bounce now, but you got to keep an eye on it. And longer term, we got to wonder what's going on with CrowdStrike and how it's going to affect the world. Sounds great to put all your stuff on the cloud, but when this happens and you don't have access to your bank or your airline, flights or your payment processors, that's a problem.